Welcome to Inside the Firewall podcast, powered by CyberGlobal. Inside the Firewall goes beyond the headlines to uncover what it truly takes to protect businesses in today's fast-changing digital world. In each episode, we will bring you candid conversations with the CyberGlobal leadership team, security engineers, partners, and thought leaders who are shaping the future of cybersecurity today. From compliance and governance to real-world incident response, we'll show you how CyberGlobal's expertise and technology are helping organizations build stronger, safer, and more resilient foundations. Whether you're a business leader, IT professional, or simply curious about what's next in cybersecurity, you'll leave with insights and strategies you can put to work right away. Join us for this episode of Inside the Firewall, where innovation meets protection and the future of digital security comes to life. Here is your host, Justin Starbird.
Welcome back to Inside the Firewall, powered by CyberGlobal. My name is Justin Starbird, and today I get to welcome founder and CEO Daniel Ciobanu to the show. Daniel, great to have you on, man. This is great.
Thank you, Justin. Happy to be here today. Thank you for having me.
I'm thrilled to be able to talk to you about a topic that is so important, worldwide. People live in fear about cyber attacks. So much of our identity is on the internet and online, available to nefarious individuals. And you have created a company that is really out there, helping to solve for that. Talk a little bit about, CyberGlobal.
Yes, very good. So thank you very much for having me. CyberGlobal, let's say sweet and short, is the first global cybersecurity franchise. We combine local trust advisors with global expertise and with scale. At the moment, we have 14 franchises in the US. We have 20 plus worldwide. We have in UAE, we have in Germany, we have in Australia, so in different countries. And we are projected to end the year with 35 franchises, having a vision of having 200 franchises globally in CyberGlobal. We are not, Justin, we are not just a cybersecurity service company, but we are trying to create a platform where we are combining the entrepreneurs and with businesses to provide and have access to world-class cybersecurity services to provide to their local customer base.
Yeah, that's incredible. I mean, the opportunity to bring cybersecurity at scale to medium and small businesses and even those in the enterprise is really such a unique service. Talk a little bit about why you wanted to do this. What's your background?
My background, I have 20 years in cybersecurity. I have been working with 500 Fortune companies, with government agencies, different companies around the world, private, public companies. So I've been there in the trenches, I would say. I've seen the problems, I've seen the solutions, and there were also a matter of trust wherever with whichever company I have worked with. They always had that problem of trust in the local. Either there was a big company, which was providing cybersecurity services and was too expensive for the small and medium market, or it was too niche, too small to provide those specific good services, quality services to the market itself. So I've seen the need, I've seen the gap, and that's how we built CyberGlobal.
Yeah, I mean, thinking about, 20 years in cybersecurity, you've seen a lot of different threats come and go. What are you, excited about in terms of the technology that's available today? How does that, help you overcome some of those nefarious actors or threat actors that we've talked about before?
I can start by saying it was not that fancy cybersecurity in the past, how it is nowadays. Now, it's starting to become a little bit of a buzz. You have blockchain, you have cybersecurity, and you have AI. So it's one of the three main things which trends on Google, let's say, right? Nowadays, we are seeing more and more AI combined with cybersecurity, quite a lot, actually. Everybody is trying to automate most of their security matters internally, but also the companies are trying to automate because of the scalability, because of the cost implications. So it's a run for automation and combined with AI and cybersecurity, I would say. It's a little bit of a transformation, and this deglobalization, which we are seeing, people are buying more from people they trust. People are buying more from the proximity. We are seeing this all around the world. For example, it's now harder and harder for a company, let's say from Italy, to sell to US, or from the US to sell to an Italian, let's say, customer. So now they are looking more like a grocery shop, to be near you, to provide, because you have that handshake, which is a physical, and in a world where everything is virtual, you need that physical, especially when you're talking about the trust. So we are seeing more that approach going in that direction. Although AI comes along with the technology, the compliance factor, people are more towards meeting the company, the vendors that they are working with. So that local flavor, we are seeing more and more demand of.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a great point to talk a little bit about the model that you've chosen. So before you were, bringing on companies as clients and, working, as local as you can there in the EU, and you've chosen to look at the franchise model and now have franchisees all over the world. How does that differentiate their, how does that create an opportunity for them to give services versus, the corporate office? Why go about that?
So I will start by saying that there are millions of small businesses, and the mid-market itself is not well taken care from a cybersecurity perspective. When you look at cybersecurity, from my perspective, it was invented for the enterprise sector because they needed the most cybersecurity when it was invented, let's say, and it remained like that. So we have those 33 million of small mid-market businesses which are unprotected. You don't have solutions. Either you're having companies too small or too big to supply those specific services to the market itself. So that's a problem that we wanted to tackle. We've seen the problem with the trust. We have been working with partnerships in US, in EU, for example, for quite a lot. 10 years, we have been working with this type of partnerships, and we have seen more and more the same issue. They always need somebody to be like a local advisor that provides that expertise to them. Either you're talking about small, medium, or even enterprise. They are looking now more towards that. So we have the trust. The trust factor in cybersecurity is quite important. You have the proximity. And for our partnership business model, which we had, franchising, we have seen it as a next step as part of the progress. And, there are two things here when you're thinking of franchising, and when we concluded that that's the way forward for us from a scaling perspective. Either it's a stupid idea, so we have to prove it, or it's a great idea and we will be the first in putting it together, in moving forward with it. So we have put it together, we've proven the model works, the number of franchises can give that insight, and now we want to scale to the number that we had in mind, to the 200 franchises worldwide.
So how do you build the system? So you have local franchisees, they go out and they, interface with customers and potential customers, get to shake their hand and share the opportunities to help out these, mid-sized companies. And then do they all have their technical experts on site, or is that something that you provide, or from the corporate perspective?
Yes. So franchisees usually are entrepreneurs. They are opening a business in the local market. And I think the impact for that market is that we are bringing quality services to that specific market that the entrepreneur builds on from a cybersecurity perspective. So we have, with every location, we have somebody who is interested to help the local market as the franchisee. Then we have from the headquarters, we are bringing the technology, the services, the frameworks that usually only the enterprise sector can access it. So we are taking all of that knowledge, the automation, the AI, creating the services, and empowering our franchisees to sell on the local market, to help the businesses, secure the businesses on the local market, being that global advisors. Now, from a delivery center perspective, we have delivery centers in the US, we have in the EU, in Germany, in Austria. We have, for example, in Australia, we have in the EU. Depends how you look at it, how you look at the whole, let's say, global perspective, because there are companies situated, let's say, in a specific state, that they also have subsidiaries in the different other states. So usually they like that local protection to happen also for them. And there are also companies which have nearshore businesses. In that case, they need probably companies that speak the same language, that are culturally fit. So CyberGlobal brings all of that together, providing the services to the different entities located in different areas, let's say, in the world, different countries.
But you stay compliant with both US standards as well as EU standards with the GDPR. Talk a little bit about how well you're able to maintain those badges and those the compliance and security for your customers. What goes into that?
Very good question. So if you look to open a company, a cybersecurity company, you have to look at the staff, you have to look at the certifications in place, building the services. Usually one engineer cannot take, let's say, 10 services. Usually you have an engineer for different services, right? So it costs a lot, it's expensive, and you need customers from day one. With CyberGlobal, we are coming with the headquarters, having the full certifications. When we are opening a market, let's say when we opened the US market 1 year ago, then we had to have the certifications in place. We have to have the delivery, Americanized, let's say, right? Because it's a culture, it's the same in other countries. In Italy, it's the same. So you have to be compliant with the regulations. The data should be in that specific country. Then you have the certifications on the company, and each region has different certifications and their regulations, especially if you're working with government companies. So we always, when we open a market, we have to be ready for delivery with all of this in place. And having the headquarters which handles the marketing side, the materials, the presentations, the delivery side, the frameworks, the playbooks, to be accordingly to the entity we're serving and to the region that we are serving, it's also affordable and accessible for the final customer. And having in the same time our franchises to have, let's say, a profitable business in the end.
Yeah. So what are some of the differences? Do you see different threats in, say, the EU versus the United States? Are there different types of actions, or, is it kind of the same and how you handle it is the same?
I would like to tell you that every market is different, that, you have different threats, and in US you have probably only Chinese threats or Russian threats, but that's not the case. Because it's like in programming. If you're programming a specific language, it doesn't matter from where you are, because the language syntax, let's say, is the same at the end of the day. Yeah. What you want to implement might be, you want to implement some new things, some new colors, but that's, let's say, from a UI visibility perspective. The technicality of it is the same, except for the fact that there are, for example, countries such as in Germany or in Italy, where there are some cases where you have to discuss in their own language. So the report might differ a little bit because it's not English by default. But 95% of the time, the English is the main language. The deliverables are the same because imagine ISO. ISO is it's an international standard, so everybody must comply with ISO in the same way. There are some frameworks for some specific countries, but usually are based on frameworks which are well known, NIST, ISO, and so on. So when you look from the threats perspective, the attacks are the same, but probably the interest is a little bit different. Maybe in a specific state, the energy sector might be a little bit more attacked, but I wouldn't say the complexity of the attacks are 0 to 100 difference from that perspective.
That's a great point. So thinking about some of those threats, because you're at a global scale, meaning you have customers across the world, really, are you able to pick up on trends or specific types of threats a little bit quicker than, say, somebody that's focused in only one country or one state?
That's a good point. So we are cross-industry. That means we are working in different industry, in banking, in telco, in oil and gas, in OT industry. So in different industry, we are providing the services. And we have, for example, a security operations center, which is 24/7. So we are seeing a lot of threats worldwide. Also, we are in the middle of creating different attack patterns, reviewing attack patterns, doing R&D at the headquarters. So we are seeing a lot of attacks in different industries, in different regions. And because of the patterns that they are making, we can assign and we can, let's say, understand that, for example, the energy sector last year was a little bit more attacked than the years before. Knowing that, we knew exactly, okay, so we need to implement for our customers which are in the energy sector, we need to implement some security measures as a protection, proactive protection, not only reactive at something which will happen, because we know from, let's say, first-time customers that they were attacked, so we know that the others might also be attacked, so we have to do some preventive actions to help them out there. So certainly it helps the global landscape, because if you're working only, let's say, regional, with let's say in state of California, right? Only working there with the local customers, you usually have the same technology stack. You don't really have that innovation that you want to test, you want to see how other attacks are. You're staying in your landscape, let's say, and you don't move too much. But if you know how others are doing and what type of attacks you are seeing around the world, this helps you protect more the customers that you want at the end of the world to secure.
Yeah. You mentioned AI being so important
Yes.
to your business. Talk about it from the threat actor's perspective. How, what has AI done over the last 18 months or so, 2 years that, you never saw coming?
Justin, I can tell you that what is happening out there now with AI is something which I never imagined 2 years back, 4 years back. The level of details which are now threat actors are crafting their messages. Now with the deepfake, for example, they can even have the same video that we are doing at the moment, the same interview, but us talking about something else is phenomenal. I mean, from a technology perspective, yeah, it's phenomenal, but from a threat perspective is frightening to be. Yes, it's very scary, to be honest with you. We are I think per week we are getting around 10 attacks. All the team members, from even impersonating myself, that I need somebody's WhatsApp number, that we have to acquire a company, all sorts of messages and stories. And there were some situations where everything was so real. Imagine having your phone number, somebody texts you on WhatsApp, it has the name of somebody you already know, it has the picture. Nobody ever looks at the phone number, right? But if it has the name in the contact, if it has the picture, you're trusting that person, right? It's the same picture, and you're getting something which is context, is something which you're expecting from a context perspective. It's not even, somebody who works 100 years in cybersecurity can figure out if that's a fake or that's not a fake contact. And now it's everything conversational, I would say, because in the past everything was somebody's hacking your laptop, but now with the technologies that became a little bit harder to do, right? But now from a conversational perspective, and because you have the videos, you have the sounds, you can fake everything in online, even the websites, the email addresses. It's only about the imagination of what you want to accomplish with the new type of attacks which are out there, and the speed of it. Imagine that now that they are not going one by one. They are going like 1,000 companies per day, and they don't need. It's like fishing with a nest, right? They don't have to go one by one and try to fool somebody in the company. No, that's not done anymore. Or physically go to the company's headquarters. It's a numbers game, and for that reason, we started a while back because we have a R&D department on our side. We started creating and preparing for the services because we knew that with AI you have the scalability of the threats, and we started creating automation. We started creating tools. We also some of the tools are commercially made with the purpose of being commercial to help us navigate this AI landscape of threats. So we are creating tools which are helping us, but also helping our customers and our partners to navigate the AI threats which are happening at the moment. For example, one of the platforms which we have created is Pentix, which is automating some of the activities that we are doing from a penetration testing perspective. And because of, for example, instead of 5 days doing an audit, now in 30 minutes to 1 hour, you can do, because it's trained with our minds, with our, with our brains, with our engineers, how we are doing the things, but now we also can go scaling the auditing side. We are scaling, we can do auditing for 100 company instead of one by one. So it allows us to tap into the small and medium market faster and having the same or even better quality, because an AI agent you can train, and you have 100 engineers which are training those specific agents to do the same and be in the same situations and how they react. So it's not something like from the internet, from Wikipedia, and putting the tests there and see what happens. No, we really wanted to construct something which is as a human being, reacting as a human being, because we are seeing the automation comes more and more. So we want to automate and be accessible, affordable, and at the same time to provide even greater value in the future.
Yeah. You talk a lot about the defensive playbook and how you have folks that are in AI that is able to identify things. How do you play offense? How do you help prevent this even from happening? What are some best practices that some of these businesses should be doing?
Well, the best defense is offense, right? The company started from the offensive perspective. So the backbone, the bread and butter is from the offensive side. That's how we started the company, because I think defensive was later on added, and nowadays a lot of the budgets are towards the defensive side, because you have different solutions nowadays, and usually in the offensive side it's time and material. People are doing the offensive, not many tools out there, so that's how we started everything. On the offensive side, it's an entire department on our side. We are doing audits, we are doing red teaming. Red teaming is the naming from military, basically, where we try everything in scope to penetrate a company. It can be a corporation, a bank, oil and gas company, but everything is in scope, and it has usually clear objectives, such as going to the office of the CEO and taking his laptop. That's a red team exercise with a clear objective of going to the HR and modifying the salary, or to the finance department. So the team tries to penetrate the building, go to the meeting room, schedule different meetings. It's not only the tech side; it's also the interhuman, let's say, relationship. You're scheduling meetings with the sales department. They invite you to the company or to the bank. You are going there, for example. They are going two in the meeting room. One goes to the bathroom, then instead of going to the bathroom, goes to the meeting room and plugging the cable. Somebody from the external perspective try to penetrate the network. So these are type of activities, and we have quite a lot, from yachts, from banks, from bankers, from company which has subsidiaries in different countries, because large enterprise usually have that. So we have a lot of exercise, especially this period of time, because in Q4 everybody rushes to be compliant, let's say. But we have quite a lot of activities on the offensive side. And being a little bit honest with you, I think the offensive side, it's a little bit more dynamic, and people are feeling like James Bond when they are doing it.
That's great. I mean, that's really exciting to hear that you play both sides of the ball, and that you're able to assist companies, to see the whole picture. What are you most excited about? You talk about Q4 coming in the end of 2025. What are you looking forward to? What's coming next?
So we are in business for quite a while, but I think what I like the most is the fact that we have the moat in CyberGlobal. We are the first global cybersecurity franchise. We are working on something which has never been done before. We are seeing a gap. The gap was validated. We know where cybersecurity is going. People don't like to buy everything from the online. They like also to see the people, especially when you're talking about services that are a matter of trust. It's like having a plumber. You really want somebody who you know already, not somebody who you don't know into your house. That's how cybersecurity, and the fact that we are pioneering an industry, adding something new which was never added before, is because how in the past it was done is like IBM. Everybody was buying from IBM different type of hardware equipment. Other players came along. Now you have the enterprise, which are taking most of the market. But now that we are touching the small and medium market, also the enterprise, but now we have services which are comes with a high quality, affordable for the small and medium market, and really is impactful for them to be protected. I think that's the biggest joy which we are getting out of CyberGlobal, and the fact again that we are first in building it. So everybody is very motivated. We have a great team, great leadership team all around the world. Everybody has the same vision in going, and we have the vision in 5 years to be in 200 locations worldwide, to have entrepreneurs that runs businesses that are successful. That's and together to help local companies be secured, stay secured, and for the future, the future which is unpredictable future at this point in time. So that's what we are trying to achieve. Everybody is excited. I'm excited, and looking forward.
Yeah, man, this has been fantastic. I mean, I'm really looking forward to this show too, to be able to dig deeper and, go wider into some of these threats, hear more about, the business model and what makes the franchise model so unique. And we have some other announcements coming in the next week or two as well. So, there's so much going on. It is so exciting. I'm really looking forward to having you on the show again and doing this some more.
Justin, can't wait. Really.
Yeah, me too. All right. Well, on behalf of my guest today, Daniel Ciobanu, the CEO of CyberGlobal, you've been listening to Inside the Firewall. Until next time. On behalf of our host and our guest today, thank you for listening to the latest episode of Inside the Firewall, powered by CyberGlobal. To hear more episodes or learn more, visit us online at the link below or via our social media channels.